that no bee entered a preempted plant. With skilful hand each stroke brought up a root and he tossed it to one side. The plants were vastly peculiar things. First they seemed to be a curled leaf with no flower. In colour they shaded from yellow to almost black mahogany, and appeared as if they were a flower with no leaf. Closer examination proved there was a stout leaf with a heavy outside midrib, the tip of which curled over in a beak effect, that wrapped around a peculiar flower of very disagreeable odour. The handling of these plants by the hundred so intensified this smell the Harvester shook his head. "I presume you are mostly mine," he said to the busy little workers around him. "If there is anything in my theory of honey having varying medicinal properties at different seasons, right now mine should be good for Granny's rheumatism and for nervous and dropsical people. I shouldn't think honey flavoured with skunk cabbage would be fit to eat. But of course it isn't all this. There is catkin pollen on the wind, hazel and sassafras are both in bloom now, and so are several of the earliest little flowers of the woods. You can gather enough of them combined to temper the disagreeable odour into a racy sweetness, and all the shrub blooms are good tonics too, and some of the earthy ones. I'm going to try giving some of you empty cases next spring and analyzing the honey to learn if it isn't good medicine." The Harvester straightened and leaned on the mattock to fill his lungs with fresh air, and as he delightedly sniffed it, he commented, "Nothing else has much of a chance since I've stirred up the cabbage bed. I can scent the catkins plainly, being so close, and as I came here I could detect the hazel and sassafras all right." Above him a peculiar raucous chattering for an instant hushed other wood voices. The Harvester looked up, laughing gaily. "So you've decided to announce it to your tribe at last, have you?" he inquired. "You are waking the sleepers in their dens to day. Well, there's nothing like waiting until you have a sure thing. The bluebirds broke the trail for the feathered folk the 24th of February. The sap oozed from the maples about the same time for the trees. The very first skunk cabbage was up quite a month ago to signal other plants to come on, and now you are rousing the furred folk. I'll write this down in my records. When the earliest bluebird sings, when the sap wets the maples, when the skunk cabbage flowers, and the first striped squirrel barks, why then it is spring." He bent to his task, and as he worked closer the water he noticed sweet flag leaves waving 2 inches tall beneath the surface. "Great day!" he cried. "There you are making signs too! And right, of course! Nature is always right. Just 2 inches high and it's harvest for you. I can use a rake, and dried in the evaporator you bring me 10 cents a pound. To the folks needing a tonic you are worth a small fortune. No doubt you cost that by the time you reach them, but I fear I can't gather you just now. My head is a little preoccupied these days. What with the cabbage and now you and many of the bushes and trees making signs, with a new cabin to build and furnish, with a girl to find and win, I'm what you might call busy. I've covered my bookshelf. I positively don't dare look Emerson or Maeterlinck in the face. One consolation, I've got the best of Thoreau in my head, and if I read Stickeen a few times more I'll be able to recite that. There's a man for you, not to mention the dog. Bel, where are you? Would you stick to me like that? I think you would. But you are a big, strong fellow. Stickeen was only such a mite of a dog, but what a man he followed. I feel as if I should put on high-heeled slippers and carry a fan and a lace handkerchief when I think of him. And yet most men wouldn't consider my job so easy." The Harvester rapidly pitched the evil-smelling plants into big heaps, and as he worked he imitated the sounds around him as closely as he could. The song sparrow laughed at him and flew away in disgust when he tried its notes. The jay took time to consider, but was not fooled. The nuthatch ran head first down trees, larva hunting, and was never a mite deceived. But the killdeer on invisible legs, circling the lake shore, replied instantly. So did the lark soaring above, and the dove of the elm thicket close beside. The glittering blackbirds flashing over every tree top answered the "T'check, t'chee" of the Harvester quite as readily as their mates. The last time he paused to rest he had studied sense. When he straightened again he was occupied with every voice of earth and air around him and above him, and the notes of singing hens, exultant cocks, the scream of geese, the quack of ducks, the rasping crescendo of guineas running wild in the woods, the imperial note of Ajax sunning on the ridge pole, and echoes from all of them on adjoining and distant farms. "Now I see the full meaning and beauty of that word sound," quoted the Harvester. "I thank God for sound. It always mounts and makes me mount." He breathed deeply and stood listening, a superb figure of a man, his lean face glowing with emotion. "If she should see and hear this, she would come," he said softly. "She would come and she would love it as I do. Any one who understands and knows how to translate cares for this above all else earth has to offer. They who do not fail to read as they run." He shifted feet mired in swamp muck, and stood as if loath to bend again to his task. He lifted a weighted mattock and scraped the earth from it, sniffing it delightedly the while. A soft south wind freighted with aromatic odours swept his warm face. The Harvester removed his hat and shook his head that the breeze might thread his thick hair. "I've a commission for you, South Wind," he said whimsically. "Go find my Dream Girl. Go carry her this message from me. Freight your breath with spicy pollen, sun warmth, and flower nectar. Fill all her senses with delight, and then close to her ear whisper it softly, 'Your lover is coming.' Tell her that, O South Wind. Carry Araby to her nostrils, heaven to her ears, and then whisper and whisper it over and over until you arouse the passion of earth in her blood. Tell her what is rioting in my heart and brain and soul this morning. Repeat it until she must awake to its meaning. Your lover is coming." The end of chapter 4.